Please welcome to the stage Heidi Freeland Trail, mother of two.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Heidi Freeland Trail. Oh, it's not on. Mic check? No? All right. Microphone. There? Yeah, there we go. All right. All right. Good evening, everyone. Hi. Hi. My name is Heidi Freeland Trail. And like so many Pennsylvanians, I wear a lot of hats. I'm a working professional, an active member of my community, but most importantly, I'm a mom. And like countless parents across the Commonwealth, I know what it feels like to sit at the kitchen table with a calculator and a stack of bills, trying to answer a question that families shouldn't have to ask. How do we make this work? Who takes the early shift? Who misses their meeting? Who pauses their career? Not because they want to, but because childcare costs more than their paycheck. Childcare is not a luxury. It is the foundation that allows parents to work, children to grow, and communities to thrive. Yet for too many families, childcare today feels out of reach. It is too expensive, it is too fragile. Parents are stretched, providers are stretched, and families are left balancing impossible trade-offs between income and care, opportunity and stability, and ambition and survival. I've heard parents say, we love our jobs, we love our kids, but the system makes it feel like we have to choose between them. And that isn't a personal failure. That is a policy challenge. And that is why leadership matters. Because in moments like this, families don't need speeches, they need solutions. They need leaders who understand that affordability isn't an abstract talking point. It's rent, it's a mortgage, it's groceries, it's mental health, it's the difference between staying in the workforce or stepping out of it. And that is why we have Governor Josh Shapiro. So Governor Shapiro has done something that far too few leaders are willing to do. He has listened to parents, providers, employers, and communities, and he has acted. He has elevated childcare as an economic issue, a workforce issue, and a dignity of family issue. He has treated parents not as an afterthought, but as partners in building a stronger Pennsylvania. And he understands something else that is deeply connected to this conversation, that the decision of whether, when, and how to grow a family belongs to each of us, not politicians. Governor Shapiro has been unwavering in his commitment to protecting reproductive freedom and ensuring that every Pennsylvanian has the right to make their own healthcare decisions, including the decision to have children. Because true support for families means supporting parents before they enter the delivery room. It means protecting bodily autonomy, respecting personal choice, and making sure every child who is brought into this world is welcomed into a community where families are supported, not constrained. And the expansion of the Pennsylvania Child Care Tax Credit is proof of that commitment and action. That expansion wasn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It meant real relief for real families. Parents who could finally afford reliable care, families who could then return to work, children who could stay in nurturing, early learning environments where they are supported and set up for success. It means breathing room, it means opportunity. And it means recognition that when we invest in families, we invest in the future of this Commonwealth. But we also know that this work is not finished. We still have families on wait lists. We still have parents leaving jobs because care is unaffordable. We still have incredible educators, the people we trust with our children day in and day out, who deserve better pay and stronger support. And that is why leadership that continues to show up for families matters. Governor Shapiro has made it clear we are not going backwards. We are building forward towards a Pennsylvania where parents don't have to choose between caring for their children and providing for them, where childcare is accessible, high quality, and affordable, and where reproductive freedom is protected, and where every family, no matter their zip code, has the support they need to thrive. I'm proud to stand here today, not just as a mom, not just as someone who has spoken about these issues before, but as a Pennsylvanian who believes deeply in what we can achieve when we lead with compassion, courage, and common sense. Governor Shapiro understands that when we invest in families, we strengthen our workforce, our economy, and our communities. He understands that childcare is not a side issue, it is a cornerstone of a stronger Pennsylvania. And that is why I am honored to support him as he is ready to continue his post as our governor of this great Commonwealth, and why I am so hopeful for the future that we are going to build together. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Pennsylvania State Senator Vincent Hughes.
Is this a campaign rally or campaign kickoff? What is this? It's too damn quiet in here, Brian. It's too quiet. We trying to get Josh Shapiro reelected or what? What are we doing? Let's make some noise. Come on, people. Look, a senior seasoned elected official a long time ago said everybody has a right to run. But they also said, Lou Blackwell said this, everybody should have a reason to run, and you darn sure should have a record to run on. And in this case, you need to make sure you got a record to be, a reason to be reelected. And on that last piece, Josh Shapiro has given us every reason to get reelected to the governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. He has put the work in, and he has earned our support. We'll walk through just a few issues, just a few. On this issue of putting money back in Pennsylvania's people's pockets, making life more affordable for people, Josh Shapiro has delivered. He's earned our support. But let's be specific. On the property tax and rent rebate program, it's the largest reduction in its 20-year history. Josh Shapiro led us to get that done. On the child dependent tax credit program, that number has increased from $600 to $2,100. And just in this last budget, the working Pennsylvania's tax credit, 940,000 Pennsylvania families will receive up to $800. That's real money, people. That's real dollars. Josh Shapiro has earned our support. He's put the grind in. He's put the work in. He's earned our support, creating job creations and economic development single-handedly. Josh Shapiro has found $32 billion of private investment to come into Pennsylvania, creating 18,000 jobs for everyday Pennsylvanians all across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Josh Shapiro has earned our support, making our communities safer, making our neighborhoods safer. Josh Shapiro has earned our support. Look, we created the Violence Intervention and Prevention Program, the VIP program, and that's money to go to neighborhood-based organizations in communities who do the frontline work, knowing how to make sure that folks are invested in, especially our young people are invested in, so they see a different path and don't choose violence or crime. And as a result of that, violent crime in Pennsylvania has dropped by 12%. Gun violence has dropped by 42%. And that's because over $600 million has gone into these neighborhood-based organizations. Josh Shapiro has earned our support on the issue of mass transit and transportation. Down in this neighborhood, we like to call it SEPTA. All right? Every time the Republican majority in the Senate of Pennsylvania, and you know, if you work with me, we're going to change that. Right, Tina? We're going to change that. All right? You work with us, we're going to change that. Every time we offered up a solution, the Republicans blocked it. The Senate Republicans blocked it every time. But Josh Shapiro, just like Saquon Barkley, ran around the block, found another way to get to the end zone, scored the touchdown, and has never allowed the buses and the trains in this region to come to a halt. Never. And in fact, to my union brothers and sisters who are in the room, and I see many of you, he made sure, he stepped in and made sure that there was a fair contract that was resolved. That's real work, folks. That's not a show horse, that's a workhorse. That's our Josh Shapiro. He's earned our support. And finally, for me, because we could go on and talk about all of the good work that he's done, he's earned our support on the issue of education funding. Earned our support on the issue of education funding. You see, on January 17th, 2023, Josh Shapiro was sworn into office. 21 days later, the president of Commonwealth Court rendered a decision on February 7th, 2023, 21 days after Josh Shapiro that got sworn into office, and said real simple, but real firm, in an 800-page decision, said that the way Pennsylvania funds education is unconstitutional and inadequate, and you have to fix it. This has been going on for decades. It's been going on for decades. It's been a problem that hasn't been addressed for decades. And the lawsuit was 9 years in the making, going through the entire process. Josh Shapiro didn't flinch. And in that time has found billions of new dollars to fund public education. In fact, over $12 billion in that time frame, making class sizes smaller, making classrooms safer, building new schools, putting solar on roofs of schools, doing all kinds of things to make sure that our children are the priority of this Commonwealth. And he could have flinched. He could have flinched, but he didn't. He could have folded, but he didn't. He didn't bend. He didn't break. He stood tall, and the progress is being realized in every classroom, in every school in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And for me, for us, it was not just a policy decision, it was a character decision. Because other people tried to make him break, but he didn't. And I was in the little rooms to see when the opportunity to walk away from our kids, and Josh Shapiro stuck up for the children of Pennsylvania in ways that every Republican governor walked away from. So just wind it up here, because there was a wager that would be longer than my allotted time. And I'm not gonna fold on that. Josh Shapiro has delivered for us. He's earned this. He's earned this. We don't need a Trump MAGA replica in the governor's mansion in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Keep that stuff in Washington, D.C. We don't need that in Harrisburg, and we're going to fix that this year in Washington, D.C. I can assure you of that. But Josh Shapiro, the question right now, has Josh Shapiro earned that support? The answer is yes. Has Josh Shapiro earned that support? Yes. Has Josh Shapiro earned that support? Has Josh Shapiro earned our support? He's delivered. He's earned that support. And let's give him the votes that we need, that he needs, to make Pennsylvania even more better, even more special than what it already is right now. Josh Shapiro, Governor, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Let's do it.
Please welcome to the stage Savannah Black, student at Merle Dobbins High School.
Hello, everybody. So, as you know, I'm sorry, y'all. There's a lot of y'all, and I love everybody for being here. I just want to thank the governor, Governor Shapiro. He's a good man. And I want to thank his team for making all of this possible for me, because I love and I'm passionate about what I'm speaking about. And it really makes a difference for everybody that's around me and the other kids that take these programs. It really makes a difference. So. So today I will be talking about CTE programming and how it affects students like me in high school. So I want everybody to imagine that they're sitting in a classroom and they're just thinking, how is this gonna help me in the real world? How am I gonna use this book work to help me build a career, build a resume for myself? And many students have that same common question. For many students, that can really affect their home life and how their family members, operate. And it has happened to me before. And the opportunities that I have from my CTE helped me through that situation. Career and technical education programs, known as CTE, are changing that experience by connecting learning directly to world skills and future careers. Career and technical programming gives students the opportunity to explore hands-on learning, such as technology, healthcare, media, engineering, and skilled trades. Instead of only learning from textbooks, students gain practical learning experience that prepares them for life after high school. This exposure helps students discover their strengths and their interests early on, so they don't have to spend all that money going to college if they know straight out of their field that they can get into the industry. One of the biggest benefits of CTE programming is increased student engagement. When students see how their education applies to real careers, they become more motivated to learn. When I hold a camera in my hand, I just think of it like a little baby. Like, I just want to cherish it, and I just want to take care of it, and I want it to grow with me. So, a student who struggles through traditional academic settings may thrive in a technical program where learning is active and skill-based. The sense of purpose can improve attendance, boost confidence, and reduce dropout rates. Career and technical education also builds essential life skills. Students learn teamwork, communication, problem solving, and responsibility skills that are used in the field. Many programs even offer industry certificates and internships or dual credit courses, giving students a head start to their career. I have went on many internships, and I worked with the BPA program as a filmmaker. So it's proof that these programs are genuinely helping students like me. These opportunities can save time and money while providing a competitive advantage in the job market. Additionally, CTE programs help close the gap between education and employment. In a rapidly changing workforce, employers are looking for people that are ready to work, not still building skills along the way. They want people that are ready to go straight into the industry. So these programs genuinely help with that. Career and technical education ensures students graduate with relevant skills that meet the current industry standards and demands, strengthening both the individual and the economy. In conclusion, career and technical programming is very impactful to students by making them learn meaningful skills that they enjoy and preparing them for real-world success. I know plenty of photographers in my class that began to make money off of their pictures because they're professional already. They know the editing, they know how to make the work better for themselves and the client. So by offering students these meaningful programs and skills and pathways to their future, schools empower them to graduate, not just with a diploma, but with confidence, direction, and opportunity. Thank you so much.
Please welcome to the stage Pennsylvania State Representative Jordan Harris.
What's up, Philadelphia? So before we begin, y'all give Savannah another hand. It is hard to come out here, speak in front of all y'all. I'm backstage, I'm like, oh, she done started crying. What am I supposed to say now? How do I follow that? Listen, I am so honored to be here today with all of you here in the birthplace of freedom in the city of Philadelphia, a city that this year will celebrate our 250th year of being a nation. You know, I came here over the last 2 days. I've been thinking about what I wanted to say to you tonight, and I wanted to talk about how over the last few years, with the humble 102 majority that we have in the House of Representatives, that many of you helped us get, how we have worked with Josh Shapiro and Austin Davis to make Pennsylvania more affordable for everyday people. I came here tonight to talk, I wanted to talk about the Working Pennsylvania tax credit, a tax credit that was in this year's budget that will put money back into the pockets of working Pennsylvanians. About 1 million Pennsylvanians will see more money in their pockets when they file their taxes. I wanted to talk about the child and dependent tax credit, the money that's going back into the pockets of our hard-working parents who are out here taking care of their loved ones because child care has become too expensive. But here in Pennsylvania, we're putting money back into the pockets of those families to make it more affordable. I wanted to talk about the billions of dollars that we've put into our public education system to make sure that our children don't just have an education that we talk about, but an education that they can actually feel, that they had the qualified teachers in front of them, and that they had all of the tools that were necessary to be successful. I wanted to come tonight to talk about how this governor and this administration has been there for our brothers and sisters in organized labor and protecting their way of life here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I wanted to talk about those things tonight, but my brothers and sisters, I have to tell you that while this administration has made Pennsylvania more affordable, while we have done the hard work to deliver for working families from Erie to Allegheny to Philadelphia to Lancaster, how we've done all of those things, I got to tell you tonight that our country is in a crisis. We are in a crisis as a nation to determine who we will be and what it means to be an American, what it means to be a Pennsylvanian. Our country is in crisis. And so, my brothers and sisters, I tell you that I'm not just here supporting Josh Shapiro because of the things that we've done for working families across Pennsylvania, but I'm here because I believe we need a governor who's ready to meet the moment that is in our nation right now. I'm here because while we celebrate the 250th of this country, we also must remember that it was a band of patriots that stood together, then they threw off the shackles of a tyrannical government. I submit to you that we have to do the same thing today in our country. And we need governors and leaders who are willing to stand up and say no to the tyrannical chains of government that tries to oppress people, that tries to divide us, that tries to have us turn away from each other instead of together. And so I'm not here just to talk about the wins of this administration, but I'm here to talk about the conscience, the courage, and what is necessary in this very moment. My brothers and sisters, I'm not here to tell you that this election is the most consequential in our lifetime. I'm telling you that our democracy is at hand, that the very country we have is at hand, and we need leaders that will stand up and speak truth to power in this moment. One of the greatest humans to walk this earth outside of Jesus Christ, I believe, was Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King said it simply like this: cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expedience asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right? And there comes a time where a man or woman must do something that is not safe, nor politically correct or popular, but they do it because their conscience tells them that it's right. I'm here because I believe that Josh Shapiro and Austin Davis will do the work that is necessary, not because it's popular, not because it's safe, but because, God damn it, it's the right thing to do to save America. I'm with Josh Shapiro because we need a leader to speak truth to power in this moment. So let us deliver for Josh Shapiro and Austin Davis in November all across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. God bless you.
Please welcome to the stage Digital Director of Shapiro for Pennsylvania, Emma Winey.
Hello, Philly! My name is Emma Winey, and I am the Shapiro for Pennsylvania Digital Director. It's so wonderful to be up here with all of you, and it's truly an honor to work for the Shapiro-Davis campaign. I know we're only a few speakers away from hearing from our incredible Lieutenant Governor and Governor, so I won't keep you too long. But I just wanted to say a few words about how you can get involved and stay involved with our campaign. Look, we all have agency, and with that, real power. And especially in this moment, we need to use it. So I'm gonna ask you to do 3 things today. Number 1, while you're here today, take out your phones and take some photos and videos. Maybe it's a selfie with your row. Maybe you use one of the disposable cameras floating throughout the room, or maybe it's a photo in your new Team Shapiro merch. Whatever it is, capture this moment and capture this feeling of being a part of something bigger. All right, number 2, share that online and tell people why you're here, why you're hopeful for Pennsylvania's future, why you're proud to be a part of Team Shapiro, and why you are fired up to re-elect Governor Shapiro. Look, spreading our message online is more important than ever before. People trust you. Your friends and neighbors, they care what you have to say. So I'm asking you to use your voice and use your power to keep Pennsylvania moving forward. And number 3, stay involved. Look, we have a long road ahead of us, and we need your help to ensure Governor Shapiro can keep getting shit done. So my final ask for you, take out your phones and text GSD to 32210 to stay involved. Look, in this moment where we feel so divided, I want you to know that you have a place here on this campaign. And whether you're in person at an event like this, sharing content online, sporting our Team Shapiro t-shirts, knocking on doors, pitching in $1 or $2, we are so lucky to have you on our team. Because together, we are going to re-elect Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis and Governor Josh Shapiro. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Business Manager for the Philadelphia Building and Construction Trades Council, Ryan Boyer.
I'm Ryan Boyer, and I'm proud to be the leader of those rowdy men and women that call themselves the Philadelphia Building Trades. And we're here. I've been around a lot of politicians. I know them intimately, and I know them well. Josh Shapiro is different. What he says is what he does. And in a time of an amazing conflict, he made a phone call. We had a terrible tragedy on I-95. We had a tragedy, and we were cutting down the whole corridor to the East Coast. He called me. He said, "What do I need to do to get this done quickly?" I said, "Governor, you're gonna have to remove some red tape," and by golly, he did it, because he gets shit done. All the experts said they doubted the men and women of the Philadelphia Building Trades. They said it was going to take us months. You ride on that road right now, up and down I-95, and we finished it in 12 days with a diverse work crew that I'm very proud of. And when you look at a job someone's done, as the young people say, you got to have the receipts, because that great American poet, Sean Carter, otherwise known as Jay-Z, he says, "Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't." And you love what you pay for. He increased, Josh Shapiro administration, Shapiro Davis, they increased the investments in apprentices by $65 million, creating 18,000 registered union apprentices in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And those 18,000 are the most diverse apprentices we've ever had in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's history. And one more thing, when you do a day's work, you should get paid. He's recovered almost $9 million in stolen wages going back in the workers' pockets. So when you ask why organized labor and unions support Josh Shapiro, is because he got stuff done for us. And he's going to get stuff done for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We need a fighter, and we need a journeyman in the governor's office, and that is Josh Shapiro, and there's no time for an apprentice in the journeyman's office. That's why the Philadelphia Building Trades and all the organized labor stand firmly behind the Austin Davis, Josh Shapiro ticket. Josh Shapiro for governor. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Philadelphia Youth Basketball co-founder and CEO Kenny Holzman.
Welcome to Philadelphia Youth Basketball and the Allen Horowitz Six-Man Center, powered and operated by PYB. I'm Kenny Holzman, a PYB co-founder, our CEO, and a longtime admirer of our governor, Josh Shapiro. The entire PYB family takes great pride in hosting this convening and this gathering. We've become a trusted, a valued, a community-driven space for not just our Kinder to Career programming, but important civic conversations like the one we're having tonight, and hosting outstanding leaders like Governor Josh Shapiro. Our mission here at PYB, simply put, is to create the opportunities, the relationships, the moments for young people to learn and grow and positively self-determine. We care deeply about all kids, all young people, but especially those who haven't been seen as talented, brilliant leaders, largely because of the inequities in their communities and the opportunities to grow great. In this center, we and many of our co-located partners provide opportunities for academic and intellectual growth, career development, leadership, mental health and wellness, healthy food, financial literacy, youth entrepreneurship, multimedia creation, all under this one roof. Opportunities for young people to thrive. We have holistic programming, not just here, but in 24 schools, and a lot of our staff team, board members, philanthropists, kids, and families are here tonight with us, and it's an honor that I share with them in welcoming you, Austin Davis, and Governor Josh Shapiro to this center. We have public elected official champions here like Vincent Hughes, Sharif Street, Rue Landau, Mayor Sherelle Parker, Congressman Dwight Evans, former U.S. Senator Bob Casey, Kenyatta Johnson. This is an all-in community lift that made this center possible. On February 3rd, 2022, Josh Shapiro visited this building for the first time. It was a rundown industrial space, and we had a big dream for its redevelopment and its repurposing. Josh was then Attorney General, and he came here on a cold, dark, wintry night in the middle of the COVID pandemic. He wanted to see and hear our vision for how we would leverage up the iconic game of basketball, the people of the game, as a powerful door opener for children, youth, and families. Josh got it, the same as our state senator did, Vincent Hughes down in front. Thank you, Senator Hughes. The Attorney General at the time believed that we had the capability and the level of commitment to create the most comprehensive, most holistic youth development center in the country. From here, we drove to 35th and Haverford to the James Wright Recreation Center to visit our I Am Because You Are Ubuntu program for older youth. It was in the midst of a youth gun violence epidemic. Josh wanted to get to know some of our young people and their lived experiences firsthand through meaningful conversation and, up and down on-court basketball. Josh wanted no media coverage and zero fanfare. There was not one camera in the building. He structured his visit around his own learning and being fully present. It was that night 4 years ago that I witnessed Josh Shapiro in action. He sought to understand our theory for helping young people to thrive. He wanted to know the why and the how we were building our program, our organization, our center, with a substantial coalition of people that cross lines of race, religion, neighborhood, economic circumstance. Josh wanted to know, how do we build a capital campaign that leveraged a little bit of public money for 3 times the amount of private philanthropy? And when it came to his time with this particular group of young people, many of whom had been arrested for lower level offenses, Josh wanted to listen and learn. He sat for over an hour with 18 young people and our coach mentors in a facilitated conversation about community, about credibility, about self-worth, about masculinity, about family, and about love. Josh participated not just as the state's top law enforcement official or at that time as an aspiring gubernatorial candidate. He came forward as a caring, relatable, deeply invested adult in the lives of these young people. He wore his basketball sneakers, his gym shorts, his t-shirt, and his COVID mask exactly like the young men in our program were outfitted. He learned about one man and his struggles growing up in multiple foster care homes. He learned about the impact of trauma on esteem and decision-making. He learned why it was that impressionable teenagers might be drawn to street life or carrying weapons. Josh listened and learned, and from there, he was ready to get up and down the court. For you basketball people here, let me tell you, Josh can play. He's an enthusiastic passer. He is a willing defender. He has an active motor for a 50-something-year-old dude, and he's what I would call a low-volume shooter who would rather dish the ball and have somebody else enjoy the glory of making a bucket. Think Mo Cheeks, the distributing point guard. That is our governor. But get this, the very next day on the campaign trail, Josh spoke frequently and with conviction about the need for more mental health professionals, many more wellness opportunities in lower income schools and communities. He understood firsthand from our young people the impact of trauma in one's childhood. He gets elected governor. He made good on those campaign promises around mental health and wellness resources. Governor's been back to our center a few times to see what young people are doing here with kids and families. Josh Shapiro has made the big dream of this center a reality. Here's what I'd say about our governor. He's the consummate point guard. He's leading our state government with vision, courage, energy, inclusivity, authenticity, humanity, and humility. He is a servant leader who never, ever conflates the importance of the work with the importance of his own profile in the work. It is about the work and the issues. Our governor believes that every person deserves the opportunity to succeed, especially young people and young adults who have historically had fewer shots to build a great self-sufficient life. He believes that all young people should be seen, heard, and valued. His commitment is not shallow. It is not mere hollow rhetoric. It has been backed up by critical investments in education, workforce development, and economic mobility and opportunity. Josh Shapiro shows up big time and again where and when it matters most. On behalf of the entire Philadelphia Youth Basketball family, we are grateful for each of you. We are grateful for Governor Shapiro, his family, and his team. Let's make 2026 a year filled with opportunity, with action, with optimism, and with impact. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker.
Listen, I want you all to give Kenny Holtzman and this six-man center team and Mr. Horowitz, give them a round of applause. This is amazing. Now listen, I can't help it. I believe in this thing called call and response. And if you're feeling what I'm feeling right now, I need to get this energy and bring it into me so that when I ask you all how y'all feel, I want to hear you say fired up. So don't yell it just yet. Let's do a practice round. Listen, y'all know what happens. I got to practice. You know what happens? I tried to spell. I got to practice sometimes. All right? All right, let's whisper. Let's whisper. When I say, tell me how y'all feel, I want to hear y'all say fired up. So we just go practice round. Tell me how y'all feel. Tell me how y'all feel. All right. Here we go. Tell me how y'all feel. Tell me how y'all feel. Is Monco in the house? Is Bucks County in the house? Is Delco in the house? Is Philly in the house? My friends over there said, don't you dare leave us out. It's Chester County in the house. It's labor in the house. Listen, it's an honor and a privilege here on today to join with each of you as we gather with a sense of urgency to support the reelection of our governor, Josh Shapiro, and Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis. There is a reason why this moment is so important. There are a lot of people right now who are disenchanted with government. They want to see a government that they can literally touch and feel in their own daily lives, and you can only have that when you have a leader who is committed to getting stuff done. I can affirm to you that long before I called him governor, long before I called him attorney general, long before I called him county commissioner, on the board in Harrisburg, for those of you who are familiar with the floor of the House, our last names are on the board. And for 20 years now, it's been about 20 years, we were state reps in the Pennsylvania House, and we referred to each other as Shapiro and Parker. But let me tell you what I witnessed. In every step, and in every meaningful way, in any role he has ever held as it relates to public service, Josh Shapiro has delivered for Pennsylvania. Let me hear you say, Josh Shapiro delivers. Josh Shapiro delivers. And listen, when you have challenging times, I want you to think about your own life. And this is important. You want someone who delivers, who can actually provide some level of consistency when you have challenges. Now, some of you in this room know that I used to run track, and I was terrible. But I ran third leg in the 4x100 meter relay, and whenever I didn't do well, we could always depend on the anchor leg. Why? Because the anchor leg provides stability. You need someone who can rock. You need someone who doesn't buckle under pressure, because the anchor absorbs the pressure and the anchor ensures that you finish the race strong. Listen to me. As mayor of the city of Philadelphia, the only first-class city in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, there is nowhere I'd rather be than right here lifting up our anchor for Pennsylvania, our Governor Josh Shapiro. Let me tell you why. I watch some people, they become masters of division, trying to pit urban and rural and suburban communities together. But we all know that we are stronger when we work together, when we advocate together, and we think about the shared synergy and, quite frankly, the challenges that we see across Pennsylvania, and we work together to develop solutions. Let me tell you something. Pennsylvania cities and counties matter, and our Governor Josh Shapiro, he knows it. How do we know that he knows it? I want you to think about our challenges like aging infrastructure, public safety challenges, economic uncertainty, and transit system challenges we've had in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I want you to think about the challenges, then I want you to put your Sherelle Parker cap on. And if you put your Sherelle Parker cap on, I don't simply listen to what people say, I watch what they do. If you want to make me a believer, let me watch what you do. The governor has delivered. He stepped up for SEPTA, recognizing that public transit, it isn't optional, it's essential to the lives of so many people in southeastern Pennsylvania. Listen, he's invested historic funding in public education because he understands that our zip code shouldn't determine our destiny. He supported public safety and violence prevention by giving local governments the tools and resources that we need to protect our citizenry. Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, Bucks, Chester, Delaware, Montco, and Philadelphia, this is what leadership looks like when you deliver for the people you serve. Finally, I want to say this. We cannot take anything for granted in this election. You've seen all the tricks of the trade. We've got to make sure that we motivate, inspire, and encourage everyone who lives within our sphere to get registered to vote, to make sure they're tapping their constituencies, they're plugging in and texting people who are a part of their networks and educating them on how they can get engaged in the Shapiro Davis campaign. Let me hear you say, Shapiro Davis. Shapiro Davis. Listen. I am proud to be here on today to say that Josh Shapiro, as governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, has delivered for us in a way that some thought, they really did, they thought it was impossible. But don't forget, this is the same guy who turned Montco blue. Do you all remember Josh Shapiro leading efforts to turn Montco blue? The same thing that he will help us continue to do in our entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Now, in order to affirm even further why re-electing Governor Josh Shapiro with a sense of urgency should be something important to us, is someone who knows about the needs of people on the ground. He owns the building as well, one of the most prominent barbershops in the city of Philadelphia, Philly Cuts. His name is Darrell Thomas, and he's been a strong advocate for our Lieutenant Governor, Austin Davis, and our Governor, Josh Shapiro. Give a huge super duper whooper round of applause for Darrell as he comes to embrace the Shapiro Davis team.
What's up, Philly? Let's get fired up. Let's get fired up. My name is Daryl Thomas. I'm the owner of Philly Cuts. This is my partner, James Brown. We've been together for 29 years on the corner on 44th and Chestnut. Philly Cuts is a barbershop, and barbershops are special. Would you agree? Yeah. We tell the truth in barbershops. Might be a lot of hyperbole, but the facts remain. And being around for 29 years, we know the facts. We know what's right, we know what's wrong. Just to give you a little history, say, well, what's this barber doing up on the stage? Well, when we opened up Philly Cuts September 1st, 1997, it was an attempt to come home and create economic empowerment in my community, the Mill Creek community in which I was growing up, which I was raised. Everybody had a hand in raising me. I had both parents. My father was a union trucker. My mother was a city worker. But what was there was trust, pride, and strong moral values, a work-hard ethic. That enabled them to send me to school, come back, and we opened up the business, September 1st, 1997. That's what brings me to this situation here. We've done a lot of community work within the community, working with first-year med students at Penn, working with the Philadelphia 76ers, a litany, a gamut. But what I would think about quite a bit, and I guess it was called survivor's remorse, what if my mother was chemically addicted when I was coming up? And these are stories that Philadelphians deal with. What if I didn't have a two-parent home? What if my father had passed when he had his first heart attack when I was in 10th grade? Would my life be different? Absolutely it would. I would have succumbed, or the probability of succumbing, to the pressures of Philadelphia, West Philadelphia in particular, Mill Creek, would have been traumatic. Which brings James Brown. He lost his father at a young age. But when we met in 97, I said, something special. I mean, a little rough around the edges, but something special about him. And what was special was he was raised. His father raised him, his mother raised him. And we became brothers. But during JB's trials and tribulations, he was convicted of a felony. He has done 30 years in that barbershop. He's raised 2 children whom are college graduates. No, I got to give him his flowers, man, because I learned a lot from this guy. He thinks he learns a lot from me, but I learned from him. Hey, right there, talk heavy. Jay walked around with a felony for 20 some odd years. When Safe Streets came along, he didn't drive his car. He obeyed the law. When he did not get a traffic ticket, he did not get a parking ticket. It's very hard to do in Philadelphia. It's barbershop, we tell the truth. And he did all of that under the weight of a felony. When this was presented to our governor, when he visited the shop, he said, Daryl, that's a travesty. Something has to be done about that. And that's what he did. He got shit done. He cleansed JB. JB was a little dirty. He cleansed him. Now, this is my guy. This is my guy. And Philly Cuts is tremendous, and we tell the truth. If you're not right, we're going to tell you you're not right. We feed children. We educate children. We supported Madam Mayor that just left here. She's right. She was the first, doing a hell of a job. And I'm here to tell you from a personal perspective, Barbara's in the building. Shapiro is our guy. He's a man of his word. He keeps his word. He keeps his word. He has removed certain requirements in terms of educational requirements so all can partake. Not everyone is able to go to college. They don't have the funding. But certain positions did not require college degrees. He leveled the playing field. We appreciate that in the barbershop. The barbershop is the neighborhood. Whatever you want to know, what's going on, when it's going on, how soon it's going on, we come to the barbershop. We also support our senator. We love you. These are the individuals doing work. Now, what I'm gonna need you all to do is to get behind Shapiro. We're gonna do this barbershop. We're gonna do it in the barbershop way. I need you to call your friends. I need you to text your cousins, text your aunts, text your uncles, saying, hey, the barbershop said he's the real deal. If he wasn't, I would have told you so. Kind of slowed it out. No, but he's the real deal. Without further ado, it's James Brown.
How y'all doing? Well, Darryl told y'all basically everything, but coming from me, coming from my community, because we touch a lot of people, a lot of souls, he's definitely a man of his word, and he definitely delivered. I'm gonna keep it short and simple. Love that man. That's it.
Shapiro! Philly, let's hear it. Shapiro! Shapiro! Without further ado, I'd like to bring up Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis. Thank you all.
Hello, Pennsylvania! Oh man, it is so good to be back in Philly with all of you. You know, these last 3 years serving as your lieutenant governor have been one of the highest honors of my life. Every day, I've been laser focused on what really matters: our families, our communities, and the responsibility we have to one another. And while I didn't know where this work would lead me when I started, I've always known why I was doing it. I didn't get into public service for a fancy title or a spotlight. I got involved because of what I saw as a kid growing up in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. When I was 16 years old, a man was shot on my block. I remember standing there and feeling helpless. I remember my sense of safety and security being shattered. And I remember thinking that nobody should have to live in a community where they don't feel safe. That no parent should have to wonder whether their child is going to make it home safe. And no family should do everything right, work hard, show up, play by the rules, and still live with that fear hanging over them. That moment has never left me. And from that point on, I knew that the people closest to the pain should be closest to the power. It was that experience and that belief that led me to my first city council meeting. It led me to run for office, and it's still what drives me today. I was proud to grow up in McKeesport, in a working class community, in a working class family, where I learned what community meant, that it should be about looking out for one another, that dignity isn't something you earn, it's something that everyone deserves, that safety, opportunity, and a fair shot at life should never depend on your zip code or how you grew up, and that we have a responsibility to show up, to give back, and to fight for one another. That's why I chose to step forward and why I've stayed in this fight. But over the last few years, this work has become even more personal for me. Not only was I given the awesome honor of serving you, meeting people in every corner of this Commonwealth, from schools in Allegheny County to union halls in Erie to barbershops here in Philadelphia, yes, Philly cuts. But I also became a dad for the first time to the most beautiful little girl. Becoming my daughter Harper's dad changed everything for me. It changed why I wake up in the morning. It gave new meaning to every decision I make as your lieutenant governor and in my life. And I made my fight even hard, and it made me fight even harder for the kind of Pennsylvania I want her to grow up in. Harper isn't just my greatest joy, she's my greatest motivation. Everything I do with her future in mind. And the promise I make to her is the same promise I make to all of your children. I'll do everything in my power to leave them a Pennsylvania and a country that is safer, fairer, and more hopeful than the one that I inherited. And God willing, with your help, we'll keep that promise. That's why what we do now matters more than ever. Because while we're focused on building a brighter future for our families in Pennsylvania, we can't ignore what's happening around us and in Washington, D.C. Watching prices climb while the richest and most powerful pull further ahead, we're seeing families torn apart in the name of law and order, while the well-connected are given a free pass and corruption goes unchecked. And political violence, chaos, and attacks on our Constitution and our democracy are treated like routine news, brushed off instead of confronted. This past year was marked by reckless decisions, crisis after crisis, fear and dysfunction used as a political weapon. But here in Pennsylvania, we've chosen a much different path. We've put progress over partisanship, compassion over division, and solutions that work above all else. We've shown leadership that expands opportunity instead of restricts it. Leadership that fights with hope, not fear. And leadership that gets shit done. We've been focused on making real progress for families all across this Commonwealth. As a new dad, I know firsthand how hard it is to find high-quality, affordable childcare. That's why we secured $25 million for a new childcare recruitment and retention program, delivering bonuses to more than 50,000 childcare workers across Pennsylvania. So that the people caring for our most precious resource have the support they deserve. We tripled the child care tax credit, putting real money back into the pockets of working families. And we've taken action to address violence in our communities, restoring the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, investing millions of dollars to support law enforcement, and funding community-based organizations that are doing the work to keep our communities safe. And for the first time ever, we've invested in after-school programs, not only to keep kids off our streets, but to give them a safe place to go and a sense of community. We've done a lot, but we all know this work is far from over. That's why I'm proud to announce I'm running for re-election to be your lieutenant governor with Governor Josh Shapiro. Because there's still so much more work we can and must do for the future of our children, for the working women and men of our Commonwealth, and for all of those who for far too long have felt forgotten or left behind. That's why I want to speak directly to them. To every parent working the night shift to give their child a fair shot. To every small town kid looking for a path to make a better life for themselves. To every family working full time and still worrying about how they're going to make ends meet. I see you, I hear you, and I understand what you're facing because I've lived it. And I want you to know that Josh and I will always have your back. We will keep fighting for you, your children, and your future right here in Pennsylvania. Politicians love to talk about the American dream, but too often they just don't get it. They get lost in talking points and miss the people standing right in front of them. As the proud son of a union bus driver and a hairdresser, I know what it's like to grow up in a family that had to get creative to make ends meet. I know the power of public schools, of teachers who believed in me, and of mentors who taught me the meaning of service. It was because of a community like that, one that loved and cared for one another, that a kid from an old steel town, too often overlooked by the powers in Washington and Harrisburg, is standing here before you as Pennsylvania's first black lieutenant governor. That's the American dream. That's the American dream, and my friends, it is alive and well here in Pennsylvania. But this story isn't just about me. It's so much larger than that. It's about what's possible when we invest in people and believe in one another. And it's about being clear-eyed and honest about what this moment calls for and the leadership it takes to meet it. Because things are very different from when Josh and I were first elected. The stakes are higher than they've ever been, and we all have a choice to make. We can follow the politics of fear and division coming from politicians in Washington, or we can stand up for our freedom, make our own choices, and show the nation what's possible when steady leadership is at the helm. I know Pennsylvanians will make the right choice, because we are the backbone of American democracy. The ideals that shape this nation were born right here in Pennsylvania. Every time we've been doubted, we've answered the call. We fought to make sure that no matter where you come from or what you look like, this Commonwealth will always be a place where you can create your own destiny and live the American dream. We've made history together, but this campaign isn't about the past, it's about protecting the future. It's not about politics, it's about people. It's not about red jerseys or blue jerseys, it's about us putting on the Pennsylvania jersey. And as we approach the 250th anniversary of our country, we're reminded of something deeply important. This is where the great American experiment began, right here in our Commonwealth. This is the birthplace of the revolution. And even though hundreds of years have passed since that first spark was lit, that flame has never died. I saw it in my grandparents, one a steel worker, the other a railroad foreman, who came here from the South to build a better life for our family. I see it in my wife, Blair, the best mother I know, who somehow manages to raise our daughter, support our family, and still show up every day to serve our community as Pennsylvania's second lady. I see it in my daughter Harper, who at 2 years old is already a force to be reckoned with. And I see it in my friend and in our governor, Josh Shapiro. Someone who has never backed down from a fight. Someone who spoke truth to power when politicians in Washington tried to force their chaos and dangerous policies onto Pennsylvania. And someone who understands that leadership is about responsibility and service, not recognition. When Josh and his family were targeted by political violence, when their home was set on fire in the middle of the night, I watched how he showed up. First as a father, protecting his family, and then as a leader, refusing to let fear or division pull this Commonwealth off its course. That kind of service is exactly what this moment demands. And that's why I'm proud to stand beside him every day as his governing partner and as your lieutenant governor. Over these past 3 years, Josh has become more than a partner in this work. He's become a friend and someone I know I can rely on, no matter the moment. Whether we're talking about how to support families across Pennsylvania, or when I'm calling him late at night when I need advice to get Harper to sleep. I can always count on him. And Pennsylvania, you can always count on him. Because he's always been in your corner. My friends, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the 48th governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro.
Philly! How y'all doing? Man, it is great to be here tonight with all of you and with our accomplished Lieutenant Governor and my partner in leading our Commonwealth forward, Austin Davis. LG, I want to thank you for your friendship, your dedication to service, and I want you to know I am blessed to have you as a governing partner, and I look forward to continuing to deliver for this Commonwealth for years to come. I also want to say a special thank you to our Second Lady, Blair Holmes Davis, for everything you do for our community and this Commonwealth. Lori and I are so appreciative of your friendship, your grace, and by the way, if you don't know this, she's got some underrated humor as well. You know, as many of you know, for me, public service is grounded in my faith and in my family. My faith has called me to serve others with empathy and with a devotion to repairing the world around me. I was taught as a young boy to look out for others, and Lori and I have tried to raise our 4 children with that same commitment to caring about the world around them. So let me begin tonight by saying to the most important people in my life, Lori, my high school sweetheart and your first lady, and to our children, Sophia, Jonah, Max, and Ruben, thank you for your unconditional love and for your willingness to make these sacrifices so that we could live this life of service. I love you guys so much. I want you to know, as I look out here tonight, I can actually feel your love. I want you to know that. And I can feel your support, especially y'all behind me here. And I want you to know what else I feel. I feel the power and the responsibility of the hope and the optimism that you've placed in me. And I want you to know I'm humbled by that. I see a whole bunch of people here tonight who have been with me on every step of my journey in service. Those who are going to power our campaign, those who serve our communities as elected leaders, and those who organize block by block and who just give a damn about our Commonwealth. And I also see a whole lot of people here who are the reason why I do what I do. You're the people who have had me on your farms, to your training centers, your small businesses, your barbershops, your schools, your homes, and you've given me a gift. I want you to know what that is. You've given me the gift of having the chance to listen. You've also had me on this PYB court, and you've welcomed me to see the powerful work you do with our young people.
giving these kids a plan and purpose, keeping them safe, and teaching them the valuable life lessons. Here's my only wish for PYB. I only wish you would stress the mid-range jump shot a little bit more instead of letting these kids shoot threes all day. That's my game, that mid-range jump shot. But listen, the listening I've been able to do, the honest conversations we've had in rural, urban, and suburban communities alike, that's where I've learned so much. And I've worked hard to deliver each and every day for this Commonwealth and to be a governor for all Pennsylvanians. And, you know, when you really listen, most Pennsylvanians just kind of want the same few things. They want good schools for their kids and grandkids. They want safe communities. They want economic opportunities where they can get ahead, and they want to dream big dreams and be able to afford the communities that they love. They want their rights and their freedoms protected. They want to pass on a better world to their kids than what they inherited. And listen, we may not all agree on how exactly to get there. But what's clear is that every single Pennsylvanian should have the freedom to chart their own course and the opportunity to succeed, no matter what you look like, or where you come from, or who you love, or who you pray to, or choose not to pray to. I see a whole bunch of people in this room who are living that, who are succeeding and finding real opportunities here in Pennsylvania. I see people on this court who are people who understand that here in this Commonwealth, real opportunity is possible. You heard that earlier from Ryan Boyer, whose members are working and revitalizing our neighborhoods from Bellwether to Broad Street, and while they're doing that work, they're putting food on the table for their own families. And when this city got knocked down, when I-95 collapsed, it was the women and men of organized labor who left their homes and worked 24/7 through the heat and the rain to get our Commonwealth moving again. Those are the people. Those people exemplify our shared ideology, and that is the discipline of hard work. Work that is committed to restoring confidence and security for the good people of Pennsylvania, and work that is to be respected. You're part of that unwritten compact in our democratic society. Work hard, play by the rules, earn a good wage, and have a government that works just as hard for you as you build out a nation for us. So whether a nurse, and I know we got some nurses in the house, whether a nurse or a teacher, a cop or a firefighter, you go to work every single day trying to fix things, to build things to support your neighbor, and to ensure that the next generation's got a real shot. And I believe you deserve someone focused on solving your problems, not creating more obstacles. Someone who goes to work for you every day, focused on you and on getting stuff done. That's what I've tried to do. I went to your schools and I listened. I saw we needed more teachers, and students needed professionals who they could talk to, and our schools were being chronically underfunded. So we came together and we did something about it. Now we're giving our children a strong foundation to build their future. We increased funding for public education by nearly 30% in Pennsylvania. And finally, after decades of inaction, we are driving those dollars out to the schools that need it most. Nearly 800 schools hired mental health counselors. We made universal free breakfast the law in Pennsylvania. And I want you to hear me on this. This is important to me and the First Lady. At a time when some ridicule those with unique needs, we invested more in special education in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We increased funding for VOTEC and CTE and apprenticeships by more than 50% to open up new pathways to opportunity. Over 34,000 of our fellow Pennsylvanians have entered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs, and the number of teachers is growing for the first time in years. Graduation rates are up, school attendance is up, test scores are rising, and the foundation for a better future is being laid. You know, I walk the beat with our police. I mourn with families who lost a loved one to gun violence. Those kids and all of our neighbors, they deserve to be safe and feel safe in their communities. So we came together and we funded nearly 2,000 more law enforcement in our communities. And at the same time, under the great leadership of Lieutenant Governor Davis, we expanded after-school programs and violence intervention initiatives centered in our communities. And as a result of this work, violent crime is down 12% and gun violence is down 42% in Pennsylvania. Be safe and feel safe. You know, I watched for too many years as businesses chose elsewhere and jobs left our main streets. If we want Pennsylvanians to stay in the communities they love and raise their kids there, then we need to create economic opportunities in every county, rural, urban, and suburban. I'm proud of the fact that we put Pennsylvania on the map again when it comes to economic development, and the data shows it's working. For 30 straight months, Pennsylvania's unemployment rate has remained below the national average. We landed the largest private sector investment in the history of our Commonwealth, brought in over $35 billion in private sector investment that's created 18,000 new jobs across our Commonwealth. These are folks, our neighbors, who are doing research in our life sciences labs to over 10,000 members of, guess who? The building and construction trades, building out the technology infrastructure of our future. To our farmers and our ag producers who take on the noble work of feeding people, we have done all that, and we've done it together. We fixed our broken permitting process to guarantee speed to market, and in turn, we've become a national model for efficient and effective government. We eliminated backlogs, we opened up more doors of access, and we're producing more energy than ever before because of our all-of-the-above energy strategy. It is working. We repaired more poor-condition bridges than any other state in the nation, and we kept at the same time mass transit, the system that millions of Pennsylvanians rely on every day. We kept mass transit up and running in Pennsylvania. More jobs, more opportunity, and more freedom, and now we have the only state economy in the Northeast that's growing. We made strategic investments, all the while protecting those in need, from our seniors to those who live with disabilities but who have so much to offer if just given the chance. You know, there were forces, and I know there's people here who know this, there were forces in Harrisburg who wanted to rip away health care coverage and take away food assistance, but we stood tall and we stopped them. I'll tell you, I've seen the concerns of parents trying to provide for their kids, only to see their hard-earned dollar not going as far. So I brought people together, and you know what we did when we came together? We cut your taxes 7 times. We put money back in the pockets of seniors, small businesses, families with child care costs, and working Pennsylvanians struggling to get by. Over 400,000 of our seniors got a tax cut on my watch. 219,000 Pennsylvania families got a tax cut to help pay for child care. And now, nearly 1 million hardworking Pennsylvanians will get a tax cut of up to $800 this year. Our kids are getting a better quality education. Our communities are safer. Our economy is growing. And we're putting money back in people's pockets. And through it all, you, the good people of Pennsylvania, you have been my North Star, my guidepost. And so I came back here tonight, came back here to Philly to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to listen to you and to serve you. And I'm also here to say that we have only just begun. We've got more stuff to do. We've got more people to help and we got more problems to solve. And so I say to you, with a servant's heart and an ear for your concern, progress made, and with a hunger to do more for you, I'm here to announce that I am running for re-election as governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Let me say, I like the sound of that. Let me say that while we celebrate our many successes, and we see that the sky is unlimited and opportunity is real for more of our fellow Pennsylvanians, we know that the floor is too hard for others. We need to protect the possibility of success while making life more affordable for those struggling to get by, to care for those who are sick, and ensure the economic changes of tomorrow lift up all Pennsylvanians, leave no one behind. We've got more to do to cut costs and give more Pennsylvanians a chance to get ahead. So we're going to build on that work we've done to put money back in your pockets. The work continues. The mission is not yet complete. We've got to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour in Pennsylvania. We've got to help more Pennsylvanians achieve the dream of owning their own home and putting an affordable roof over their head. We've got to produce more energy while protecting our environment. We've got to enshrine into law protections for victims of abuse along with our LGBTQ neighbors. And we've got to hold those companies that are trying to raise our electric bills accountable. I'm running for re-election to continue that work. And I'm running for re-election because I have never backed down from a fight. And right now, we are in the battle to protect the very foundation upon which the place we call home was founded. You know, I am privileged to serve as the 48th governor of this Commonwealth and to follow those who came before me, to take up the baton of progress and carry it forward. That's the way it's always been done since William Penn arrived in 1682 on the banks of the Delaware River in Chester on a ship, Chester, on a ship named Welcome. Hear me on this. Penn wanted to build a place that would be welcoming for all, a place that would be defined by real freedom, with free elections, free expression, and the freedom to worship as you wish as central tenets of our new home. I know all that feels at risk right now. I know it feels that way to you, and it feels that way to me too. Listen, it is not possible to tell the story of our accomplishments, about the progress that we've made, the lives we've touched, without acknowledging the very real challenges to the founding principles of our Commonwealth because of the chaos, the cruelty, and the corruption in Washington, D.C. And you know this to be true, that some politicians who know better are too cowardly to speak up. They abandon their principles, and in an attempt to position themselves and be better off, they leave a whole lot of others behind. And that weakness has a real cost. Nearly 500,000 of our neighbors are about to lose their health care. Over 100,000 more will lose their food benefits, and millions are paying more when they go to the grocery store or buy a car or just want to buy their kid a gift. Small businesses are struggling, and farmers are losing markets and instead being offered a handout. This type of chaos, it erodes the progress we've made here in Pennsylvania, and I know it stokes worry and an impulse for some to retreat. I have felt the weight of your fears about losing your freedoms at the hands of politicians who want to control what you read and how you get your health care, and they want to deny you your vote. The worry about being unable to feed your kids because that compact that we relied on for generations was just ripped away. The worry, I know that many young people feel that American dream is something that they learn about in the history books, but isn't something that they see in their future. Every step of the way, I want you to know I've stood up for my fellow Pennsylvanians, sometimes in a court of law and other times by refusing to back down, refusing to cast certain of our neighbors aside, and always speaking truth to power. You know, the 10th Amendment of our Constitution preserves power to the states and guards against federal overreach. And so hear me on this. If anyone tries to mess with a Pennsylvanian, restrict our freedoms, take away what's ours, they'll have to go through me. I'll continue to make Pennsylvania a place where a woman's right to choose is the law. A place where you can marry who you love, worship as you please, and where the union way of life is protected, because on my watch, Pennsylvania will never be a right-to-work state. Never. Never. And now is not a time for any of us to retreat. Now is a time for us to engage, a time to stand up to the bullies, to offer calm in the face of chaos, and to find ways to come together and defend our progress and our beloved Commonwealth. In these times of challenge, let us take comfort in knowing that progress is possible and we can work together. We're showing that right here in Pennsylvania. And at this time, where others want to stoke division, let us commit ourselves to the proposition that no American is my enemy and every American is a partner in the greatest experiment of human governance in the history of the world. We, the people of Pennsylvania, we are descendants of Penn's promise, and we bear the responsibility to carry it forward, to continue that work, to find ways to appeal to our better angels instead of succumbing to our worst impulses. You know, the solution for curing the divisions of America is to refuse to become part of them. Refuse the personal attacks. Refuse the whitewashing of our shared history. Refuse the scapegoating of others. And refuse to allow our party registration to shut us off from our neighbors. Look, I'm a proud Democrat, like many of you are here tonight. And I know we have a whole bunch of proud Republicans here as well. Democrat, Republican, Independent, we are all Pennsylvanians first. I'm honored to be a governor for all Pennsylvanians, to reaffirm that no American is my enemy and every American shares a common future, a future grounded in freedom and opportunity, with good schools and safe communities, a job in the community you love, and a dream that feels achievable with hard work and dedication. A future where when you get ahead, your neighbor can too. A future where your success breeds others to achieve higher heights. And so, my fellow Pennsylvanians, the choice in this race is clear. Will we continue to do the hard work of bringing people together to get stuff done? Or will we descend into the chaos and extremism that has gripped too many other places across our nation? Y'all are getting it. Will we build on the promise of Penn, respect the compact that has binded Pennsylvanians together for generations? Or will this be the moment where the compact frays and the divisions define our future? Will we trust women to make decisions over their own bodies? Will we trust parents to raise their children, trust people to elect their representatives? Or will we undermine the right to vote, eliminate personal freedoms, and restrict our liberties? Will we be consumed by darkness? Or will we seek out the light that our neighbors shine? I want to continue to build a Pennsylvania where we value our freedom, we cherish our democracy, and we show love for our Commonwealth and our country. 3 years ago, we chose to keep darkness, division, and extremism out of the governor's office. And this year, they're running the exact same playbook. And Pennsylvania, I'm optimistic we are going to reject it again. We are going to reject it again. And that optimism I have, it comes from all of you in this room, the people I met along the way, the people who have come before us. Let me explain what I mean. When the clock struck midnight on New Year's last week, we not only ushered in a new year, we embarked on the celebration of this great nation, a nation that got its start right here in Pennsylvania. 250 years ago, a band of patriots gathered here in Philadelphia to declare our independence from a king. Those men knew not what was to come, but they knew that their future and those who would follow would be grounded in freedom and in self-determination. And for as much work as they did, the brilliance of their proclamations was that their work was incomplete and that the job of building the nation would fall to subsequent generations. And in every chapter of our American story, it's been ordinary Pennsylvanians, ordinary Americans who've been called to pick up the mantle of leadership, chip away at injustice, push back on intolerance, and make progress for the next generation. And over the last 250 years, we've been willing to do that hard work, sometimes at the ballot box, sometimes on our town squares, and more recently, online. No one is coming to do it for us right now. The task falls to each of us. I know, and I know this, it's easy to see the chaos and just turn off the TV. Retreat and hope that someone else does the work. But that is not the Pennsylvania way. And your presence here tonight, it proves that. Because we, Pennsylvanians, we are a state of builders, a state of doers, and a state of get shit doners. Earmuffs for the little kids. From our founders to our steel workers who built our cities and towns, to those who descended beneath the surface of the earth to power our Commonwealth and our country and form the arsenal of democracy. But power isn't just wielded in large acts or on big stages. You have enormous power. And tonight, I'm asking you to use it. Post about why you're here and what's at stake. Have that respectful conversation with your friend who voted differently than you in the last election, but now sees the effects of that vote and wants a different way. Volunteer for a shift at your local campaign headquarters. Proudly wear some of that Shapiro merch to show that you believe in empathy, you believe in progress and real results, and that you reject extremism. And don't lose sight of the privilege that you have to live here in Pennsylvania, the biggest swing state that always decides it all. You have the ability in this election to decide the balance of power in the U.S. House of Representatives. You have the power. You have the power to help me win a trifecta in Harrisburg, where our legislature is divided by a mere 3 seats. And you have the power to re-elect our history-making lieutenant governor and grant me a new term to keep working my ass off for all of you. And so, my fellow Pennsylvanians, I'm going to keep on listening. I'm going to keep being a governor for all Pennsylvanians, and I'm going to keep on getting stuff done. And through it all, knowing that you have my back, knowing that you truly give a damn about this Commonwealth, and that you're ready to work together and protect our country, that inspires me, and it gives us all hope. You have the power, and I've got your backs, and together we will win this re-election. We will. And from here in Pennsylvania, the birthplace of our democracy, we will send a clear message that division does not define us, that progress is still possible when we work together, and that we can build a Commonwealth where everyone has the freedom to chart their own course and the opportunity to succeed. Thank you. God bless you all. Let's get back to work and go Birds.